I believe in giving it your best when it comes to love. That if relationships are to last, then they should be treated like marriages. Like they are already solid walls and they're not going to come down like the walls of Jericho. If we are to keep our marriages intact, then we have to also treat them like relationships. To love the person as if we are still trying to win them over. When we get into marriage, or even when a relationship has lasted for so long, we get past the honeymoon phase. We no longer try to win our partner over because we believe, why should I feed the fish if I've already caught it? If you treat the end of a relationship as if it were the beginning of it, then there won't be an end. And if you treat the beginning of a relationship as if it were the end of it, then believe me, it's going to end as soon as it has just started. I believe that we need to give it our best because the problem is we trust in teaspoons. We love in tablespoons. We tiptoe into love so much that we wouldn't recognize it even if it were right in our faces. We no longer commit. We doubt love so much. Yet, we still want to fall into it. I believe that if each and everyone from either gender were to just treat the relationship as if it were the last, then it would be the last. And it would last. We're so afraid of commitment, yet we want love. We don't invest in the relationship, yet we want to have the 5-year anniversary. We're so focused in these social media couple goals, we forget to love people in real life. The only times that we really smile with our partners are if there is a selfie being taken. There is a big difference between love and social media. Love. Man, I would rather love you in person than love you on social media. That's just a bonus. I would rather have you love me in person than have you post me. I would rather have you tell me that you love me than for you to tell the world that you do so. Because in the end, a relationship is between two people, about two people. We shouldn't let too much of other people's perspectives contaminate what we have. Love is and can be a beautiful thing if we can just give ourselves time to fall into it. Not doubt it as much as we do. Not analyze each and every specific detail, because most of the time, our partners are not cheating. We make them to. They don't just cheat. We make them to. If your partner doesn't trust you, don't start doubting their love. If your partner starts having too many questions about you, don't doubt their love. First, think to yourself, what have I done for them to doubt me? What have I done for them to start questioning so much about me? Because it is very easy to blame them and see their flaws, and it is very hard for us to realize that we are the ones causing those flaws. We are the ones shooting the rifle, then ignoring all the damage that we are causing in the distance, busy thinking that our partner is the one at fault. It takes a whole lot of maturity to realize that you need to self-analyze before you blame your partner. You need to try and diagnose yourself and realize what you are causing in the conflict, what you are bringing to the conflict. We all complain, my partner is toxic. She's toxic. She's just toxic. But we never actually analyze what you did to make her toxic. What did you do for him to start cheating? Yes, there is no excuse for cheating, but did you contribute to him? Because people don't just cheat. People don't just lie. People cheat because they are lacking something. No one cheats for no reason whatsoever. No, 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 no. There is a reason. But most of the times, the reason is stupid. That's exactly why we say there is no reason for you to cheat. There is no excuse for cheating. But there is one. It's just stupid. So, before you blame your partner from today onwards for something that they are doing, first think to yourself, what have I done to contribute to this situation? And how can I fix myself to make sure that this situation doesn't pounce up again, shoot up, and potentially ruin the relationship or the marriage, the engagement. Love is a beautiful thing. So, before you blame your partner, look at yourself. And after you look at yourself, then look at your partner. See what has to be fixed and learn to fix it. Because by moving from relationship to relationship, you are practicing divorce. Rather fix the situation with the one that you're dating right now than just move on. Nah. I don't date broke guys. Most ladies also say. And believe me, whenever that they say this, they are always tainted as gold diggers. But have you ever taken time to scrutinize and really see why they get to that point? Because love doesn't pay for the dates. Love doesn't pay if she gets sick. Love is not even going to pay for the lobola. The uncles are definitely not going to accept love in place of cows. We want cows, but simply because of that, ladies have then derailed to now say, I'm going to find someone who has potential to marry. Now, potential to marry and potential to love are two different things. And if you actually think about it, if this woman has been poor all her life, and she actually has a chance between choosing a poor guy and someone who is financially stable, well, why shouldn't she just go for the financially stable one? Because, see, most of the times we've always tainted men who are financially stable to say, well, he's not going to appreciate you, he's going to leave you, what does he need from you? Well, let's keep in mind, you can also be broke and be a womanizer, a cheater, and a player. Money has nothing to do with loyalty. Yes, money is the root of all evil, but being broke doesn't make you holy. So, now imagine this. You are a lady walking down the street, and then you spot the latest BMW about to pass by. In haste, you fix up your lipstick and your weave, anticipating to be stopped by the man inside the car. As it passes by, you then notice it's not a man, it's actually a lady. Someone who opened books instead of opening her legs. Someone who focused on her finances instead of focusing on men. Look, a man is not a business. A man is not a financial plan. Nowadays, there are so many opportunities available for either gender. And if you are really down to earth, you can make it, whether you're a lady or you're a guy. Most of the times, ladies choose a man who has the ability to marry them over the one who has the ability to love them. They pick the man who has the ability to marry them today over the one who has the ability to marry them forever. A broke man's love is despised. If you don't have money, nowadays you can't even afford love. Let us get into relationships for the right reasons, and most of all, work things out with our partners as opposed to bragging about, well, I can just move on. No. Stick with your partner, because no one in this world is perfect. Not even you. So work things out, because what we usually do is we reject our partners, throw them out for cheating, and then go out, grab someone else, a replacement for them, who was also rejected for cheating. work on your relationship. If you've ever been heartbroken, then you know at least one of these phrases. I promise, at least one. Number one, I need some space. They say that as if you're taking up all the space in their life. Or, I need to focus more on God. They say that as if you are the damn devil. Or, it's not you, it's me. People say that whilst you literally don't have a problem with who they are. Jokes aside, heartbreak is painful. Jolo pandemic. Why do I say so? If you really scrutinize it microscopically, you will realize that the symptoms are exactly the same with those of corona. Well, you lose appetite, you get headaches, tummy ache. Well, let's not forget, both can also lead to death. Okay, so is there a way to avoid heartache or heartbreak? Maybe there is. Let's find out. The number one reason why most relationships don't lead to marriages is because there is no plan to get there. I've literally asked a couple of ladies, well, would you marry the guy that you're dating? And with no haste or hesitation, literally replied and said, no, nah, he's not husband material. He's not the fatherly type. Well, if you have already decided that the man you're dating is not going to be your husband, then why are you still dating? People don't know why we should date. And that is exactly why they get their hearts broken. Because listen, there is only one plausible reason for dating, and that is dating for marriage. What is dating? Dating is a form of romantic courtship between two individuals who are trying to assess their compatibility as spouses. So, if you're not dating for marriage, then you're dating for heartbreak. Why? Because if you're sure that it's not going to be permanent, then it is most definitely temporary. Simple math, no numbers to crunch. Today we're going to be speaking about love languages. Very, very interesting topic. What are they? How do they work? Are they also like linguistical languages, you know? As for me, I'm originally Shona, so that means I am most fluent in that language. And then I'm multilingual, so that means I not only speak Shona, I speak Shona, English, and Ndebele. So, how do love languages work? Because at certain points in times, you can be loving someone and they won't see it as love. Most of the times when we're in relationships, we often give love the way that we want to receive it. So we don't give love to our partners how they want to receive it, but rather how we understand it. We love people in the way that we ourselves want to be loved. And that might not be the way that they want to be loved. There are 5 love languages. Imagine this. There is Xhosa, there is English, there is Afrikaans, there is French, there is Ndebele. Imagine speaking in Ndebele to someone who is Afrikaans. They're not going to understand you. Imagine doing vice versa. They're still not going to understand you. So you might actually be on the same page with the person, but because there is a language barrier, you're not going to be able to get along. It is not because you don't love each other, but that there is this misunderstanding, so to say. Alright, so the first love language is words of affirmation. There are people who love words just for words. And as an author, I can literally tell you that. You know what? I would love a female Shakespeare because I am so good with my words. I want someone else to also reciprocate. And isn't that how we all love? We always say, you know what? If someone really loves you, then they're going to reciprocate. Well, reciprocation does not necessarily mean them doing the same thing with you that you are doing with them. Reciprocation is actually them loving you in the way that they know how to love you. Right? So when they reciprocate, you have loved them in a way that you want to love and be loved. But when they reciprocate love, they will love you in the way that they know how to love. As we say that the first love language is what? Words of affirmation. The second is acts of service. So you can present words of affirmation to someone who sees love as acts of service. And people who see love as acts of service, whenever that you only say things, they don't see it as love because they believe you need to back up the words with some action. Have some action. I heard what you said. I heard that you love me. I heard that you'd go to the moon and back. But I need the act of service. Where are they? Those whose primal love language is acts of service not only want words, but they also want you to what? To prove it. So don't you just think that they want you to cook. They want you to do something for them. But it also has to do with the attitude, because what is it worth if you are going to do an act of service but will be grumpy the whole time? It literally defiles the whole purpose. And then the third love language we're going to speak about is gift receiving. This seems a whole lot materialistic until you really analyze it. Look close to it microscopically, and then you understand that no, it is also a love language. Very sorry to the Stingy Main Association, but listen, there are individuals that see appreciation as gift receiving. It is not about how much you spent on the gift, but it is about that you were thinking about them whilst you were away. When you passed by and saw their favorite ice cream, that they came into mind when you did so and you just bought a scoop. And this one is not materialistic. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is not materialistic. It is also a love language. Let us move on to the next. The next love language has to be physical touch. Physical touch. This is not about sex. It is rather about intimacy and closure. Having your partner next to you. A 5-second hug can relieve stress. That's what psychology says. And this is exactly what individuals like that believe. They would rather have you here than have you buy them something and leave. This actually brings us to the next love language, which is quality time. When it comes to quality time, these are people who believe that if you love someone, then you are going to invest not your money, not your possessions, but your time. You can regain everything, but you can never regain time. And simply because of that, when you invest time into them, they feel loved. So, this also is not just about you spending time with them, but it is about you giving them energy. We most of the times really confuse this, because what is it worth if someone is going to be with you, but their mind isn't present? They are sitting right next to you, but they are on their phone. Yes, they are right next to you, but their mind is elsewhere. It is just not worth it. So when we say that I need time with you, we don't actually mean time as in the clock. We don't actually mean spending hours together, but we mean I need to feel your energy. I need that when you are with me, that you really actually be with me. These are the languages that we love in. So keep in mind and try so hard to learn not only your love language, but also your partner's love language, so that you can know how to give love more appropriately to them, and how to receive love from them. We are a bugger generation. We're busy dealing with trust issues in relationships that we didn't create. We are busy dealing with insecurities that we didn't create. We are dealing with broken hearts that we didn't break. Simply because people have always insisted on moving on to the next relationship without taking time to heal. If you ask your friend right now what to do after a heartbreak, they will tell you the best way to move on is to literally move on, get into another relationship. But that is then when you'll get into a situation that you realize every relationship you get into has some sort of toxicity. It is always toxic, and you wonder what is wrong with the men of this generation, what is wrong with the women. But you never actually take the time to think, if every relationship you are in is toxic, then perhaps you are the one who is bringing the toxicity into the relationship. No man just approaches, men get attracted. So if all men that are approaching you are dogs, then that means you have something that dogs like. Magnets cannot attract wood or plastic. Magnets attract metal. So the type of man or the type of woman that you want is not attracted to who you are. The one who needs to be fixed right there now no longer is the person who is approaching you, rather yourself. If you don't take time to heal, that's when you will realize that we are in a relationship, but then you keep on bringing issues from your past relationship into your current relationship. For instance, whenever your partner does something that seems just a little bit alike with what your ex once did, you immediately raise your guard, because your mind is telling you history is about to repeat itself, and you forget that humans are not the same. We are all different simply because humans are learning creatures. That is perhaps the reason why we have managed to reach where we are today through evolution. We have managed to learn that, well, if a mammoth is approaching, I need to hide myself or I need to fight it. So once you get hurt, the next time you'll put your guard up so that you don't get hurt. But then you forget that you have actually learned the wrong lesson. Because if someone has broken your trust, you should learn that, well, I should not trust this person. But instead, what most people learn is, if someone has broken my heart, then I am never going to trust anyone again. Don't learn the wrong lesson through that experience. Instead of learning that, well, men are dogs, you can actually learn, well, this guy is a dog. And you can actually learn that, well, a certain person who has these behaviors is quite toxic to me, and whenever that I am now trying to get into another relationship, I should stay away from someone who perhaps has the same qualities as the person that I was with before. By not allowing yourself to have time to heal, you are also not allowing yourself to have the opportunity to love, because you can never love fully and truly if you have not yet healed. So you will move into the relationship and bleed on someone that didn't hurt you. For each and every moment that they get to love you, they also need to heal you. We have quite normalized the phrase, well, my other half, my better half. And I think that is quite toxic. Why? Simply because if you feel by yourself that you are not whole, you are not complete, and you think that someone else is going to complete you, then you are starting off from the wrong foot. You have to be content with yourself. Two wholes are supposed to meet as opposed to two halves meeting. Because if two halves are meeting, then that means you are expecting the other person to complete you, and no one can ever do so. You are the one who is supposed to complete yourself. Once you are okay with being by yourself, then now you are fit to find someone else. You have to learn self-love. Why? Because you can never love another before you love yourself. And moving on without healing simply shows that you do not love yourself. If you love yourself, you would take care of yourself before you ever look for another person, isn't it? Exactly. So take the time to love yourself, to explore what else is out there. Take the time to heal, because without healing, you are only setting yourself up for another heartbreak, for another failure. Love gets you used. We are a torn, shattered, and buggered generation. The more you love someone, you would think is the more you will receive love back. The more you love someone is the more they will actually use you. No wonder each and everyone in our generation is so scared to actually profess their love for the other person, because they feel, actually they know, the very moment that they express and tell their partner, "Kuti indakaperera, nyepelele, you know what, I am all in," the very moment that they say that is the very moment that they will start to get used. We have been taught so much to maximize on opportunities. So if you were to go right now to a car dealership, you're looking for a certain car, the very moment you get there, you see the salesman and he approaches you and asks you what you were looking for. And as you're speaking, having the conversation, you then spot this very beautiful, marvelous, gorgeous GT Ford Mustang. It is right over there. So as soon as you lay eyes on it, you shout out and you scream, because you've always wished to have a Ford Mustang and you can't afford it at this moment. So you shout, you're like, "Wow, you have the GT Mustang, the 5.0 engine, this is ABCD." And he says, "Yes." You then ask him, "Okay, cool, this car is my dream car. Man, how much is it going for? I love this car." As soon as you say that, the price will go up. I can guarantee you this. The price will instantly go up. It might have been going for $1 million. He's going to tell you, "Oh, that's a very unique brand. It's a Ford Mustang, of course. You can give me 1.2 million. 1.2 million, of course." He is going to increase the price. Why? Because he has seen how much you love it. And that is exactly what people do. Instead of our generation loving people and using things, we are using people and loving things. The very moment that you express yourself fully is the very moment you will start to get used. Can we please change this? Instead of using the people that we love, let us love the people and use things. Love is so much rare to find in our days. Maybe back then it was a bit easier. They treated their relationships the same way that they treated items and machines. Whenever something broke down back then, it was fixed. They had to find maybe a carpenter, they had to find a mechanic, they had to find a tailor. Nowadays, we just throw them away. And it's the exact same thing. Instead of working on our relationships, we throw them away. If you're not working, you know what? I'm going to throw you away and get a better version of you. You really think that you're irreplaceable? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw you in the trash and get another lover. I can replace you tomorrow. And now they say, "I will move like Wi-Fi, Baba." And we take so much pride in moving on, not realizing that the more relationships that we are in, the less we are able to commit. So if your solution to the relationship not working is moving on, you are always going to move on simply because there are no perfect people. So each and every time where something is bugged, where we get into a fight, if your solution is, "I'm walking out the door, I'm walking out the door, I can't stand this," then you're going to be walking out the door all your life. Instead of us fixing our relationships, we have chosen to move on. We need to change that, because we need to love people and use things. We need to commit to people and not things. Men have an easy time committing to just a football team. They will commit to the point that it does not matter how the team has been losing this season. If I'm for Arsenal, I'm for Arsenal, and you can't change that. I will stick by Arsenal. But they cannot stick with the same woman. We need to change that. We need to love people and use things. That was our episode for today. Like, share, subscribe, whatever. Thank you so very much. So, this is Makanaka Motivation saying ciao, bye, and most of all, don't forget to keep on keeping on.